Good morning. It's Monday, February the 8th, and this is the heart of the matter. The Sermon on the Mount is intended to demonstrate what the life of a follower of Jesus looks like. This sermon does not tell us how to become a Christian, it tells us how we are to live if we are a Christian. And all through these three chapters, you find contrast between how most of the world thinks and acts and how Jesus expects us as his followers to think and act. And one of the greatest contrasts is in the area of marriage and divorce. And you will see a familiar formula in what Jesus said. The formula was, "It has been said, but I tell you." In other words, the world's way of thinking and acting is this, but you are to think and act like this. So listen for that contrast and what Jesus said in Matthew 5, verses 31 and 32. He said, "It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for marital unfaithfulness, causes her to become an adulteress, and anyone who marries the divorced woman commits adultery." Jesus points out that the prevailing thought of the day about divorce was anything goes. You could divorce your wife for any reason at all as long as you gave her the proper paperwork. Never mind what that divorce would do to her well-being or the rest of the family. If a man wanted a divorce, it was permissible, with the only stipulation being give her the proper certificate. And that was accepted practice in that day, even among people who claimed to know God. That doesn't really sound all that different than our world today, does it? There is this thing called a no-fault divorce, meaning that someone can legally divorce their spouse for any reason at all or no reason at all. And of course, we know that many people do just that. And the damage to our culture, the damage to our families and children is devastating. Most experts agree that the only thing that brings more pain and heartache and grief than a divorce is a death. And so that's why Jesus sets the bar so very high when it comes to divorce. He said that the only permissible reason for divorce is adultery or marital unfaithfulness. And even in the case of adultery, divorce is not commanded, it is only permitted. God is in the business of putting broken lives and marriages back together, even marriages broken by adultery. Now, we know that that's not always possible, of course, but it is something that he desires and that we should work for. And that's because he values marriages and families and children. And even if it takes great work and patience and forgiveness on our part, a broken but restored marriage is better than just a broken marriage. And so, think long and hard about divorce before you take that step. Is it something that God approves of? And that's the heart of the matter.